Hey everyone, it's John here from CNS Outdoors. Ice fishing's upon us, and I thought I'd share with you a couple of things that I've done to make my life better when it comes to ice fishing. I did a little bit of organization, and probably like a lot of you, I got sick and tired of stuff falling off my sled and everything else, and I built this Smitty Sled a few years back and a power station with my grandson. And then I made a homemade light, and it's pretty cool. It's just going to make my life so much easier now. So I'll show you what I did, and yeah, we'll go through it. So here's my Smitty sled. I used it on a 1-inch PVC. I made this so I can pull it apart, put it into a bag, and carry it around. I don't have the bag with me right now. I've got it on order. But this sled here I did a few years back, and I've done some updates to it that I think you're gonna like. It has made organization that much nicer, that much easier to slide around. So with that said, you can kind of see what I've done here. I've got some eye bolts on the side to hook up. I've got a good base, and I can still put my my flip over on this thing if I want. So let's show you what I do when I'm not carrying my flip over on top of this. So this is just the sled itself on there, and what I did is I've got everything I need to put in there. I drilled some holes on the sides and put some eye bolts to hook up bungees or whatever I want. And then I drilled some holes down here. I've added 2 milk crates, and as you can see, one's got my bucket and everything I need to kind of get rid of hooks or whatever else is not in there. My seat goes on top. I've got my bag of lures in there. I got a dipper, a knife. I got all kinds of different things in my bucket. That's what I sit on here. I got another bucket that I can put my tip downs and my tip ups in there, my gaff, you name it. So that keeps there. I got my shovel. I'm able to put my bait well that I created here a couple of years ago, and that's out of an old cooler. That thing was pretty easy to make. I got 2 flashers up here, so if I got room for mine and the wife's, or if somebody else is going with me that doesn't have one. Here's how I hook it up, and yeah, of course that bungees, but it just goes down in here and hooks up underneath. That bungee does, to keep it on top of there. And I got one on the back as well. The eye bolt is exposed, but what I did is I got one of these tool belts that from Harbor Freight for $6-7, and I got a cup holder in there for my drinks. I can put poles on that side if I want. And again, this is all so I can break it down, but that fits right on there, and that's kind of hard to do with one hand and show you on the camera, but there we go. But that fits on the side. In here is where I got my power box that I'll show you here in a second. This back end, I made a nice little shelf that I can put my flashers on there or whatever I want. It was just space that I could use. And then I know you're probably looking at this, and I'll show you what this does. These turn so I can move them, and I can hang my auger onto those. So here's what that'll look like. So now you can see I've turned them around, and my auger sits on there. I can put the bungee strap over. Don't have one right on it right now, but I hook it up to that eye bolt and go over to the eye bolt in there if I want, or all the way over to the other side. This has got my rods and all kinds of other things in there. So now I've got it nice and organized, and it's much easier to pull. One thing I will tell you is that the PVC, make sure it's the kind that can tolerate the cold. if you use the cheapest PVC you can find, then you might have some problems because it usually gets brittle and breaks. So be very careful with that. Spend a little bit extra money. But this whole thing comes right apart if I want. So when it comes to storage time, I do everything and put it in a bag and put it up in the rafters in my garage. So hopefully this gives you some ideas. But you can see I got everything in here now, and it's going to be nice and strapped in and way easier to pull and go from there. So in this back end, I drilled out a bigger hole here. This way I can put in this stick I made for when I go hunting. I put my GoPro on there, and then with my power box right there, I can hook up to everything. I made a power station. I can plug in my USB right there to charge my phone, run my GoPros. This one's got a cigarette style that's added on there. But yeah, I got that. And then, so I made this light, and I'm gonna change these over. Right now I got gator clips on it, but I wanted to show you. This thing is bright as heck. I just made this thing out of an old mayonnaise jar, but got some LED light strips on there, and this thing just lights up my world inside my flip over. And I mean, I'm gonna stand back. It is really bright, as you can see. So that was another thing that I made, which is great, like I said, when you're in the flip over. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff on there that made it so much easier for me to carry out on the ice, and now it's organized. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Until then, tie lines and shoot straight.